Okay, so welcome back, everyone. This is going to be Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition. This game is going to be taking the players to Mordheim. The title of this game is Mordheim, City of the Damned. So again, we have our players with us. It's going to be Emma playing as Arda, Lucid playing as Lucian, Maddie playing as Juliana, and Ghost as Durak, the Dwarf Slayer. And again, this is Doc, and I will be running the game tonight. I'll be running it for Blades and Blasters, so check us out if you haven't already. So we're going to start right where we left off last time. And we left off last time with the three of you going in for the night and staying at the old Speckled Hen. Now, you were going to be staying there overnight. Looks like, if I remember correctly, Durak went to the common room, and Arda and Juliana took a private room. I'm not quite sure, if I don't remember correctly, where Lucian went.
Lucian would have gone with Juliana, unless he was thrown out.
Unless he was thrown out, of course.
No, he'd be invited.
Especially for the previous day's events and his constant falling over, it seemed like. But in any case, you guys have an uneventful night. You stay there, and I believe Juliana got the bath she was looking for. And we will start this off as the next day, with the sun coming up through the windows of the old Speckled Hen.
And Juliana wakes up in the morning. She feels the side of her face, not really feeling the pain at all that she experienced yesterday. And as she gets up, she makes her way to a nearby mirror or some sort of reflective surface, looking at her face, turning it from left to right. And noticing now that what she thought was a deep cut in her cheek before was, at this point, just kind of a healed up scratch. She was kind of realizing it was more of an overreaction than anything. She was a little bit embarrassed in the morning, but she quickly looks over to see if Lucian is up yet.
Lucian stirs in the bed, being half awake but not yet willing to commit to rising, even as the sounds of roosters crowing in the fields outside rises to him. Eventually, though, he sits up and does a long stretch and rises, pulling out a small knife before walking over towards Juliana, wrapping an arm around her and planting a kiss on her cheek before asking, "How'd you sleep?"
Well, after that bath, I slept very well.
We all needed this, Lucian says as he begins to shave using the straight edge of the knife in the mirror.
Juliana smiles at Lucian, getting ready for the day as she puts back on her clothes from the other day, straightening them out. She looks down at the bottoms, the hems of her dress, makes a face, her nose wrinkles slightly, and eyebrows furrowing. It's still kind of disgusting that we have to traipse through the muds and everything, but I mean, if a little dirt is all we get, it's worth being out of where I used to live, no?
A little dirt, a little good imperial dirt I would take over all the finery of Bretonia any day. Well, perhaps not all the finery, Lucian says, while giving a wink towards Juliana.
And she smiles and kind of goes up to Lucian and gives him, when he doesn't have the knife up to his face, and gives him a kiss on the side of the head. I'm going to head in for breakfast. I will see if the others are awake and let them know that I think that my face is fine. I don't think I need a doctor.
Hey, sounds good. I'll check the horses after this and then meet the rest of you at breakfast.
Perfect. Just make sure that you are done in time so you can get some. Alright?
Oh, don't you worry. Nothing ever gets between me and a good meal.
You're not wrong. And with that, Juliana leaves their room, heading downstairs, the main area, and looking around for Arda and Dirk.
Yeah, you head downstairs. The stairs creaked underneath you as you walk down, and you just scan the room quickly and easily spot Arda and Durak both already down in the bar area, the dining area, the main common area here. And Durak is already sitting at a bar, and Arda, I believe, is at the table.
Juliana walks up. She looks a little bit sheepish this morning, but she does give a wave both at Arda and Durak. Good morning. How did the two of you sleep?
Fine. Good morning. Your face looks better.
Yes, I think I just needed a bath to get the dirt out. That was probably what all the stinging was about.
Aye, looks like the mark has improved your facial features, if anything. Well, you can actually take a punch now as opposed to being busy.
Well, Doc, I am glad you approve, though I feel like to be fully I couldn't grow a beard this well.
Alright, a beard might look good on you.
And maybe, but unfortunately, I do not think we will ever know. And with that, she kind of sits down. Oh, have either of you gotten breakfast?
About to get my second plate. How much for breakfast, barman?
And he looks down at you, and he's already given you a pint, and he's just kind of smiling. Yeah, well, I guess that would just be a few pence more, or not really a whole lot. I mean, I've got some eggs, I've got some bacon. I reckon you could probably eat quite a bit. Would you like me just to bring a couple plates of that, since you've already kind of gone through one?
Bring a couple plates, and I want you to pour a pint of ale on each plate.
So Dobert, the barkeep, he turns around and walks behind to another little room behind the bar, and you can hear him kind of throwing something on a griddle back there, and you can smell bacon or cooked meat coming from behind there.
Juliana looks over to Duroc. She kind of raises an eyebrow, looking as though she's about to say something, especially when he mentions bringing him more pints for the morning, but decides instead to keep her mouth shut, looking over at Arda. So do you think that we should leave today? Maybe see if we can pursue that gentleman that was mentioned yesterday?
Well, Arda kind of gives a big stretch. I think that if you three are feeling alright, I'd love to get moving. Don't like to really sit in one spot for too long out in the roads, especially in small little towns that are just so lovely, but not really my vibe.
Yes, I do agree that they stink like piss and shit.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah, exactly.
Aren't you folks used to being covered in piss and shite anyway?
Well, I usually am not.
Me neither. You have to keep a certain appearance at the college.
So as you three are having this discussion outside in some stables behind the tavern, behind the old speckled hen, there's a small stable, and walking around out there is Lucian, who's checking on the horses.
Yeah, Lucian walks up and down, checking each of the horses to see that they seem to be in good shape, looking at their horseshoes and just checking that everything looks to be good, and keeping an eye out for any stable boy or anything to make sure that they had been fed the previous night.
Okay, go ahead and make an animal care test, Lucian.
This might not go well. Would it be charm animal or?
Nope, animal care.
Oof.
So you're walking around, and as far as you can tell, the horses all look fine. They don't look any different than they did, when you stopped here several days ago. None of the horses look to be in pain. None of the horses look to be any dirtier or any worse for the wear. As far as you know, the horses are all in the same shape that they were when you arrived.
All right, then. Having ascertained that, Lucian will return to the tavern to join the others for breakfast. Walking in, Lucian approaches just as Arda says that she doesn't normally smell of piss and shit either, and says, "The dwarf talking about piss and shit again."
I mean, what's new? Piss, shit, nail. That's about his vocabulary, right, dwarf?
Hard not to be all that talk about when it's all I ever see traveling with you, manling. Look over at Lucian.
You saw a few gold yesterday, and you stick around, you're likely to see much more. And that's more than you saw before joining us, if I recall the circumstance.
Debatable.
Well,
as you're having this discussion, Dobert, the barkeep, comes walking back through the doors, and he has several plates of food, a couple of them piled a little high, and slides them in front of the dwarf. And he looks at you expectantly, as if he's just dying for you to take a bite of his food that he's prepared for you.
Yes, I threw a couple of pennies, brass pennies on the table. Ah, there it is. Something to look forward to this morning, finally. Just starts digging into it.
Well, yes, Dwarf. I hope it's something that you will enjoy. I went back there and made it just for you, as you requested. You asked for it, and I went back there and I put the food on the grill, and then I brought it out here and gave it to you. Is it good?
It's not stone-bread and goat cheese, but it'll do.
And he seems very pleased with himself when you says it'll do. He smiles and he straightens his back just a little bit and raises his shoulders, and he kind of just goes about wiping the bar down.
Barkeep, if you think it is possible, do you think that me and my companion can also get some breakfast? It would be very kind of you.
Yes, of course, ma'am. I'll be right back with that. And he again turns around and heads off into the other room.
These people do not exactly know how to fully treat everyone, but I cannot expect too much a town such as this.
We should be thankful they have a tavern and inn at all. Not as many travelers these days with the wars raging. Too dangerous, even this close to all. But speaking of, we were discussing yesterday, I think it's still a wise course to set off towards Altmark to find whoever this man was hiring soldiers and mercenaries and other rough sorts. Sounds like he had quite a bit of gold behind him, and well, frankly, we could put better use of that gold with it in our pockets than in his.
And it is very true. Dirk, how is your leg? Your leg?
Leg? Oh. A little scratch. It's fine.
Alright. As
Not
long
as
as you can...
devastating as your facial wound, unfortunately.
True. My facial wound definitely took precedence over your leg.
And as you look down and say, it's only a scratch about your leg wound, where the dog grabbed on just the day before, snarling, slobbering all over it. Go ahead and make a Constitution test, Dwarf.
Is it endurance?
Is there not a Constitution?
I don't think so.
No, I think it's only endurance.
I'm happy to consume alcohol. It's pretty close to Constitution.
Yeah, go ahead and make an endurance check. And as you look down and you comment that it's just a scratch, you do notice that it's getting just a little red and puffy.
Yeah, Durek will look at it and just shrug and go back to eating his breakfast.
Lucian kind of looks down at his leg and says, "You might want to pour some of that ale on your leg. Make sure it doesn't get infected. The rest you could pour down your throat all this."
It's basically water anyway, but sure, why not? Take one of the cups off the table, take a nice big swig of it, and then dump it on my leg.
And just as you're dumping it, Dolbert comes walking out from behind the thing with carrying some plates. It's just in time to see you dumping his ale on your leg, and his eyes get wide, and he looks almost shocked, like, "What are you doing?"
Your ale's so good, sir, that we thought it might heal his leg. Given the way it's healing our bellies, along with your food right now, we thought it worth a try.
He slowly sets the plates down and pushes it towards you others. Heal his legs, well, but it's not medicine. It's ale. It makes the belly warm and the head spin sometimes, but I don't know what it's going to do for his leg. I mean...
Friend, haven't you ever heard it said that ale is the best medicine? Lucian says, looking him straight in the eye.
where I always thought that kind of meant what was ailing you out and about, like women folk, work.
I think it's also leg injuries. I believe I've heard that on good authority. Isn't that right, Juliana? Lucian says, turning towards Luke.
And she kind of coughs a little bit and finishes kind of swallowing. I apologize. What? I was enjoying this food. What about me?
Lucian has to make a charisma check.
Just straight charisma, or should I do any kind of charm or subterfuge or something?
It's a standard charisma, or yeah, you could do a charm test, so whichever you prefer, and it's standard, so all standard tests get plus 20.
Oh, jeez.
And as you're talking, he sees a little bit of a smirk on your face, and he sees how Juliana is somewhat smirking to herself and putting her, eyes down to the ground. And he definitely gets the sense that he is being made fun of or lied to in some way. And he just kind of clams up. Well, I mean, if it really is, I don't know about that, but I don't know that I need to be made fun of. And he grabs the towel that he was wiping the counter with and turns around, and he just walks into the back of the kitchen.
Well, that was not awkward at all. At the very least, I bribed him not to give the Sawbones drinks for the morning, so if we need to, he can take a look at the dwarf's leg.
I'm fine. Smoothly done, by the way, manling. Your silver tongue certainly got us into quite a bit of good stuff, isn't it?
Piss poor peasants don't know a good joke when they hear it. Best we be setting off soon. Don't want to overstay our welcome in this shithole of a town. And the sooner we leave, the sooner more gold will be in our pocket.
Let me finish my bloody breakfast, and then I will. He'll start pounding back the breakfast as quickly as he can.
Are we gonna head out right after this, or is there something else you three need to do?
I do not think so. I feel like, how many extra... I think we should just head out after this. It might be best. I mean, we do have the barkeep kind of angry at us. So, might be better to just vacate.
Alright. I'm gonna go get Sunny ready.
She's gonna go walk out of the tavern and head towards the horses to prep hers.
Yeah, Lucian's gonna eat his breakfast and then get up to go towards his horse too, leaving the however many coins it would cost.
And as you're getting ready to walk out, a familiar face starts walking in, coming down the steps, down the stairs. And he kind of huffs and kind of a little gruff, and he stomps down the stairs and walks up to the bar, past you folks. Dobbert! Dobbert! Where are you? And he just starts calling out for Dobbert. Dobbert.
That's the Sawbones, correct?
It looks like the man that was sitting at the table drunk last night, yes.
Okay. Lucian will, as he's finishing his food, will look down at Duroc and motion towards the Sawbones and say, if you do want to get someone to look at that leg, seems like here's your chance before he starts.
I'll be fine, manling. It's a love tap. Don't worry about it.
Well, do not worry, Borak. If it turns out that your leg becomes infected and we have to cut it off, I would be happy to assist.
Aye, then I get a nice pig leg. Perhaps dwarfen make instead of this umgia trash you have for prosthetics.
And we will see. Depends who we are around. That Juliana kind of finishes up her own meal, heading upstairs to pack her and Lucian's things before coming back down outside to the horse.
Okay, so Juliana makes her way back up to street level and makes her way to the horses. Dora?
I think we're both doing the same.
And grab my the pony.
So you walk out to the small fishing village of Riverside, and there's people going about their business, waking up, wandering around, carts flowing from here to there, bringing in the fish that they dry and salt and prepare and use as their main commodity to export out of this village. You see some kids running around. The sky is just a little overcast with some clouds, and you make your way to the barn where your horses are. You find them all there, just as you left them previously, with no obvious issues going on with them.
Lucian would, saddle up his beast and, looking at Arda, say, "We're not far from your college, aren't we? Do you know the roads around here?"
Do I know the roads around here?
Probably not this far south of Altdorf. You kind of are from Altdorf and the immediate surrounding areas, and have spent most of your time in Altdorf at the colleges there. So a fishing village this far south, heading towards the Gray Mountains, isn't something you'd be familiar with, or the roads down here.
Okay.
Well, I never really left Altdorf much, so I'm not too familiar with the roads out here. As we get closer, I'm sure I'll start to recognize some things, though.
Well, hopefully it isn't too hard to navigate.
Ask for bloody directions.
Do you think they would actually know how to read a map in this town?
The old Umgi who paid us might.
I think it's true.
We know which direction we're going. We'll just follow the road.
Are you confident in leading us to the road, Lucian?
Yeah, Lucian would hop on his horse and start, moseying off towards the northeast. Which, based on my reading of the map, is the direction of Altdorf.
Yeah, technically it would be somewhat northeast, something along those lines.
Yeah.
If you were looking at the map, truly. But for the purposes of the map that you're on now and its facing, it would be north of where you're located now, like due north.
Yeah, and I think I said northeast. But yeah.
Juliana will saddle up then and head out as well.
Okay. So you guys saddle your horses and you start getting on them. Your beasts underneath you, kind of just trotting along on the paths. And sorry. plus finding something here. And you start moving in the direction that you know Altdorf to be. All roads lead to Altdorf, and you don't have any issues once you get on the road. You're walking along and kind of trotting along. The dust getting kicked up underneath you, the sun trying to break through the thick trees, and then slowly the sounds of the village start leaving you behind. And you're going along, and the sun is coming up and getting higher in the sky, moving across the sky. When you come across, you don't remember a storm, you don't remember high winds last night. You all slept pretty well. But after several hours of riding, knowing that you have at least a couple of days worth of riding, you come across a downed tree across your path. And it's just kind of blocking the way of your path. It's not horrific, but it's too large a tree for your horses to jump, not being, purebred war horse, and especially Durok's pony.
Can Lucian do a wilderness survival check to see if, does the tree look like it was felled, chopped down, or somehow put?
Yeah, you don't need to make a check to do that. It was obviously not chopped down. You could see that it is pulled out at the roots. The roots are sticking out from the tree, and it is just covering the entire path.
Is the underbrush and the woods on the side of the path here too thick for us to take the horses through?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Is the underbrush and trees and everything on the side of the road here too thick for us to take the horses around this felled tree?
It's pretty thick in this area. This is somewhat deep woods. The only real path is the roadway leading north. It's a very common roadway because it does head towards Altdorf. But everything around it is extremely thick. You probably could, if you force the issue, go off the trail and get around, but it would take quite a bit of doing. If you would like to roll perception, Durok, yes, you can. You look around, the dwarf on his pony, and he's hearing the wind and hearing bugs and birds, but as far as anything else, there's nothing else that stands out to you.
Yeah, I just kind of based on Juliana's kind of knowledge for tactics and stuff, and this being kind of an overshadowed area, kind of roll for perception as well to see if this is kind of a good area for some sort of ambush.
Go ahead. You can all make perception checks. Like,
Just straight perception, no bonuses or anything, or no plus 20.
yeah, yeah, it's a standard test. All standard tests are always plus 20. Just assume, unless I say otherwise, it's a standard test that gets plus 20.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
If it's plus 20, I'd be better.
Oh, if it's plus 20, I would have passed.
Same.
There you go.
So everyone passed. So you do know, especially with your kind of critical skills, Juliana, as an advisor, the dwarf as a warrior, the the wizard as an educated person and Lucian as an outlaw who has been in the situation, um, this does look like a very good area for an ambush. Because the wood is so thick here and it's hard to get around this tree, you are forced to deal with this tree, meaning you're forced to get off of your mounts and do something. Otherwise, you're stuck here, or you're stuck in the brambles and the thicket trying to get around it.
Lucian. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all.
But of course, you know this is the case if it were to be an ambush.
Lucian leans over towards Arda and mumbles, "So, wizard, have anything for large trees blocking our path?"
Oh, great tree, please move out of the way. No, I got nothing. Sorry. It's kind of a different wind of magic.
Looking at down towards Dorak, Lucian would be like, "What do you think? The two of us stand guard and keep watch while they tie the horses to the tree and try and get it to pull it out of the path?"
I could do mumbling if you think these draft horses can move a tree.
How large, like, could tying, like, the 4 horses, like, saddles to the tree and having them, like, go, does it look like they could probably pull it off the...
The horses you have, while they're good for traveling on well-worn paths like this and roads like this, that's all they're good for is travel. Exactly, they're draft horses. They're not war horses. They're not even horses used on a farm to plow fields. They're more along the lines of the dwarf's pony. They're simple. They're not overly powerful. I'm sure maybe if you got all 4 of them together, they could make some movement on the tree, enough to get it pulled away. But the way the tree has fallen, it's wedged in there pretty good, and especially with all of the roots still on one end, it's quite heavy.
The more time that we stand here debating, the more time that we have to get attacked. I think we need to make a decision. Either we attempt to find another path towards Altdorf, or we cut through the brambles. Personally, I think that we should just cut through the brambles and attempt to go around, but we should keep eyes out just in case.
I'm in agreement. One of us could try and cut a path through some of the underbrush then, and we could lead our horses around.
Well, I already know who's getting that job. Hops off his horse and gets his axe out, kind of grabs his the horse by the reins. Come on, you slobbering beast. Sort of pulling it towards the underbrush.
Well, I guess if you would like to volunteer yourself, that is perfectly fine.
Well, it makes more sense than either of you two dainty waifs, and the manling's too lazy to do it. Also, if someone is going to ambush us, they might aim high. And I'm not very tall.
You do have a point there. We will keep an eye out, just in case I will be close by. She gets off her horse as well, kind of finding a place to tie it off to, at least for now.
I'm so reassured. Believe me.
Well, at least you will have some assistance instead of none. So take it or leave it.
and he spits on the ground. He'll go try to start clearing some space to the underbrush using his axe. Just knocking away trying to knock away just little bits and pieces, enough to get through, to get us around bushes and things like that.
So as you go trudging into the underbrush, it almost comes up to your neck at your height. It's thickets, it's brambles, it's foliage, dead trees. It's just a tangle and a mess of everything. And as you go wading into it, it's just thick and daunting. You swing your axe and swing your axe and swing your axe, and I want you to pass uh, 4 outdoor survival tests. And if you do that, you will have cleared a path that at least the horses can go through single file.
Can Lucian assist in this? He has the outdoor survival skill.
Well, everyone does. Everyone should. Yes, if you'd like to assist him with that, you can. That would be a +10. But because the way the thicket is and how hard it is to get to, this is going to be the difficult test, so +0. So you don't get the +20. But with Lucian's help, you get +10. But it's still the main actor doing it. So you've rolled. You've rolled. You've made some serious progress as the day goes on. The sun starts dipping on the other side. And as the sun starts dipping on the other side, you're sweating and you're becoming somewhat tired. The wounds on your leg are starting to throb now. And you're getting close and you're there, but just a little more would be better. If anyone else would like to go ahead and attempt to try and get through this, Lucian, you can.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Would I still get the +10 from assistance, or is Duroc just needing to sit out altogether?
No, Duroc he can still help you. He just wasn't able to complete it all himself, basically. So, what
Can I spend, what is it to, like, re-roll?
How much fortune do you have left?
If we didn't reset after the last one, I think I spent 1 fortune last time, maybe 2.
Okay. If you have fortune, you absolutely can spend it.
Wait, fortune is the permanent, not the temporary, right? Not the one that recharges.
I think it's the other. Yeah, fortune is the permanent.
Oh,
Fate is the one that's Fate is the one that recharges.
Yeah, you probably want to spend the one that recharges.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll spend a fate.
That's the one that allows you a reroll.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then I'll spend a fate to do a reroll.
Okay. Okay, so you were hacking away, and at one point, with Duroc at your side, hacking away at the thicket with you, you almost slipped and swung just a little too close to him, but he was able to kind of sidestep that just a little bit as you went through the thicket just a little too easily with one of the swings. But as you did that, you cleared a path. And fortunately, it was enough to get through to the other side. You guys have spent most of this afternoon, though, doing this. By the time you had gotten here, it was already a little later in the day, and now you know that it's starting to become nighttime or dusk, and the sun is setting just a little bit. The sky is turning orange as you finally make your way through this thicket.
Juliana kind of looks up to the sky and squints a little bit. Ah, darn, it looks like we will have to make camp somewhere. Hopefully while we still have light.
Yeah, that
I
sounds good.
We should ride ahead a little further and see if we could find a decent spot to set up camp. Yeah.
Oh, of course, but maybe not too long riding up ahead, just as fast as we can. How are the two of you? You did a lot of hacking and slashing back there.
I'm fine. Distraught?
I'm bloody tired. Set the camp up here. If we were gonna get ambushed, we've been ambushed by now.
It's not wrong. I haven't seen anything.
Neither have I. Though we will know at least one way. Maybe let's see if we can keep eyes on the entrance that we have just made, so if someone comes that way, we will know. And, well, we have this entire path to see if anyone comes the other way.
Well, I mean, as long as they don't have horses, like, they can just climb over the big tree, right?
You are right. But let us hope if anyone attempts to ambush us, they have horses.
Got it.
Durak just shakes his head and starts breaking out some of his equipment for the camp.
Still think this is a bad idea, but whatever. Hopefully we have good luck this evening.
Well, we can do that whole thing of some people staying awake to keep an eye out and everybody else sleeping.
Is the word you're thinking of their last watch? Keep watch?
That sounds right, yeah. I've never done it, but I could stay up.
Well, thanks for volunteering.
You're welcome. I don't want to stay up all night, though. I do need a little bit of rest.
I will take, if we do it in shifts, I will take the second shift then. If you will take the first one, like that.
Thanks, Juliana. Sounds like a plan.
Yes, I do not want to get ambushed just as much as you.
I'll take the third shift, and luckily all of our work today means we already have plenty of kindling for a fire.
Oh. If you all set up the tent and, not tent, but the sleeping areas, I will gather some kindling then from your hard work and bring it back over. Sounds like a plan.
Lucian nods and begins setting everything up.
And Juliana will wander over, grabbing stuff to burn, make a little fire.
So you gather the wood, especially there's been plenty of stuff that's been chopped up in the last several hours since you've been here already, and you put it together. It's not too difficult to create a little fire. You create a little fire and start your evening as the sun starts going down and it's getting darker. The fire goes up just in time, and you're sitting around here off to the side of the road. I'm assuming no one has passed in all of the hours that you've been out here. The road has been empty the entire time, and the sun finally, slowly dips down and starts overcoming your little campsite.
At this point, since they've probably most likely eaten at this point, unless anything else is said, Juliana is going to go and sleep.
Sleep tight, you
Um,
three.
Lucian will as well.
So who was on watch?
Me, Arda.
First watch.
And I'm assuming you're breaking watch up into all four.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, so, Arda, you see the others start to nod off. The fire is a pile of kind of glowing embers as you stoke it and kind of keep the flame going, throwing in some of the kindling that was chopped down by Lucian and Duroc earlier. The flame rises, as you can see, embers kind of floating up into the night sky, illuminating the dark. As the four others are slowly just nodding off and then finally falling to sleep, a soft snore coming from Duroc. Go ahead and make a perception test.
All right. Can I use my second sight, just to kind of keep an eye on the winds of magic and see if things are shifting, like there's movement around and all that?
Absolutely, you can do that. Why don't you go ahead and do that first?
Okay, so I get 20 bonus, right?
For that one, yes. For your perception test, it's going to be, it's not going to be the standard. It's going to be the more difficult one with no bonus, only because it's nighttime in an unfamiliar area uh, with everyone else sleeping. So
Yeah.
your winds of magic
I don't
can
think
be
second sight is something I necessarily roll for. It's just like a trait that kind of adds an extra level to some of my skills.
um, can you go ahead and read it for me so that I know exactly what it does?
Yeah. Okay. You can perceive the shifting winds of magic that course from the chaos gates at the poles of the world. You now have the sight, and it says max initiative bonus tests any test to detect the winds of magic. And then when you look up the sight, which is on page 233, for all you following along, it says, if you have second sight, you may use any appropriate skills with your etheric senses, most commonly your intuition, perception, and track skills. And then it kind of goes into a further paragraph of detail.
So it could be one perception or maybe two perceptions split, depending on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so it looks like you're trying to determine what the winds of magic, basically, if there is a magic line coming through here. Yes, I would let you use a perception test for that, but the other perception test, the one just kind of basically for watch purposes, is just a standard perception test.
Okay, so this first
So
one is for second sight.
yes, and you can get the plus 20 for that one.
Okay.
Did you add the plus 20 into that one?
Yep.
Okay. So you are, as you're sitting there and the embers are going up into the dark sky and the orange glow of the tiny sparks kind of dissipate and disappear, you use them almost in a way to determine what kind of magical energy, what kind of magical line runs through these dark woods. And as you are doing that, you're focusing on trying to pick up the winds of magic that might flow through this area, you are pretty convinced that there are no strong winds of magic flowing down this major roadway or through these trees here tonight. It's not essentially a magical location. It's not something that the winds of magic are flowing through. The chaos energies aren't writhing and making their way through all of these ancient trees. Not here, not tonight.
Okay. And then regular perception.
And as you're focused on the winds of magic and you look around and you hear insects and you hear uh, different creatures uh, walking and moving about, um, you realize that that's all you hear. There's nothing else out there happening, nothing else going on, just the snoring of a dwarf and the occasional rustling and movement of your two other friends as they turn in their sleeping bags.
Alright. And
The
Arda's just gonna...
night carries on, yep, until your watch is over. And unless there's anything else that you want to do while you have this moment to yourself while everyone else sleeps.
No, she's probably just gonna be studying some of the stuff in her grimoire.
Okay. You're studying your grimoire while this is going on?
Yeah, and periodically, like, checking around and all that, and then eventually at the shift, I'll wake up Juliana.
Go ahead and make an intelligence test.
Any modifiers?
Just the standard plus 20.
Can I re-roll?
If you would like to use one of your points, yes, you can.
Yeah.
So you're reading your grimoire, and at first it's not making a whole lot of sense. You're trying to figure out how to get these tricks, these little petty spells almost that you were given, that were written down in your grimoire. How you're going to get them memorized so that you don't have to keep opening your book. And at first, you just don't think you can grasp it, but once you took a moment to take a deep breath and look up at the dark and see the orange sparks of the fire against the dark, and focus on the winds of magic, you have a better understanding of what's written down in your book. And some of it sticks, you think, and you're pretty assured that it won't be too much longer before you have these memorized, and that you won't need to open this grimoire, this book, hold this book in your hands before you can cast these small tricks, these small spells. There'll be something of a second nature that you can just think of and cast. You're getting better. You're getting better at what you want to do.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I'll wake up Juliana once I'm done with everything.
Oh, already. Juliana kind of sits up and rubs her eye. Alright, you go sleep.
Alright. Thanks, Juliana. Good luck. Seem pretty quiet out there.
And hopefully it remains quiet.
Yeah, hopefully.
And Juliana just lets out a yawn and is gonna lay down to go to sleep.
And Juliana makes her way towards the fire, stoking it a bit. She takes out her new sword that they had taken from the bandits, kind of testing the balance on it. And as she kind of, keeps watch and everything, and during her watch, she'll be kind of practicing with it. She's really only had the dagger for the longest time, trying to get the balance worked out.
So as you're kind of going just back and forth, your feet scuffling in the earth, looking around you, looking at your friends sleeping on the ground, going back to the fire and stoking it occasionally, throwing some more kindling on it. As you're looking around, go ahead and make a perception test for me without the plus one. So, and again, as you're looking around, listening, sword down at your right side, head cocked somewhat to the down to the left with your right ear up to the sky, maybe your eyes closed even just a little bit. You're listening, but again, it's just animals and darkness, some rustling of trees, brush, but nothing that sounds foreign, nothing that sounds threatening, nothing that sounds like something you need to be afraid of.
And Juliana just kind of take a moment just to kind of enjoy kind of the darkness and just the sounds of nature before kind of getting back to testing out the blade for whenever her watch is up, she'll go over to Lucien, kind of gently nudge him until he wakes up. Lucien? He's gonna kind of poke and prod. Lucien? We can't hear you, Lucid. I love your talk. Yeah, she just kind of smacks him a bit. Lucien!
Lucid, are you there?
Oh, he said 1 sec.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I can see your mic lighting up, but we can't hear you.
How about now?
Oh, yep.
It's weird. So my laptop has the button to like mute the mic, and it sometimes goes off without me. Weird. Lucian, yeah, watch, and slowly drags himself out of his bedroll, stretches a little bit, and takes up his spot in the third.
Juliana then takes her place back in her own, sleeping. Goes to bed.
Lucian doesn't have anything really fancy that he's doing. He just, keeps the fire going, listens to the sounds of the forest, and tries to keep an eye out for anything.
Yeah, fortunately for you, all the brush and everything that you chopped down earlier that day is more than enough to keep the fire going. So the fire won't be an issue for anyone this night unless they just absolutely neglect it. Go ahead and make a perception test without the. So as you spend the evening stoking the fire, making sure that it keeps going, putting the kindling on it, putting the brush on it, making sure the fire stays high. There's a glow all around you. There's a glow, a flickering glow, a warm glow on the faces and bodies of your friends as they lie in a circle around, tight knit, sleeping comfortably, knowing that you're awake, that anyone is awake, to keep an eye on them as they sleep. They sleep peacefully only in a way that they can when they know they're out in the open and someone is looking over them. And
Lucian thinks for a moment, you know what would make this moment even better? If we had a guard dog watching over.
that would be beneficial. If you did have a dog, that would be so helpful. But you don't. Um, you hear the horses kind of whinny a little bit and clomp their hooves as they move around just slightly, but they don't sound startled. They don't sound frightened. They just move just slightly as everything quiets back down. Um, you can see the fire getting low as you stoke it one last time, and you put more of the kindling on it before it's time to wake up the last watch.
Okay, and Lucian will go over and kind of nudge Duroc with his boot. Be like, hey, dwarf, it's your turn on watch.
Get your filthy shoes off me, manling. Stand up and stretch a bit. Oh. Take the frail self back to sleep.
You won't have any argument from me on that, Lucian says as he climbs into his sleeping area and kind of snuggles up next to Juliana.
And Duroc will take a seat kind of next to the fire, occasionally go out and get kindling when he needs to.
Duroc, it's kind of the same situation for you as it has been for everyone. It's just the insects and the sounds of animals out in the woods, the occasional rustling of horse hooves, snorting. Um, you have the benefit of not having to listen to anyone snore as you're awake and on watch, and you continue to look around and keep the fire going. As you're doing all of this, time passing, go ahead and make a perception check.
Called it.
So you're half asleep, you're tending to the fire, you are doing any number of things, and nothing stands out to you. Again, there's some shuffling of horses, a little whinnying, and nothing that stands out to you, though, as being alarming. Nothing that stands out to you as being concerning. And the night sky goes from black to a deep, dark blue. And then it goes from a deep, dark blue to just a lighter blue. And you're standing there, and the blackness gives way to this deep blue as the night sky around you starts getting lighter and lighter. And then finally, the sun starts coming up. Go ahead.
So as the sun comes up, Duroc wants to get moving. He had the benefit of not getting to the last watch, but then he's going to be up throughout this entire day as well. So he just kind of looks around, sees everybody still asleep, And he just kind of yells loud real quick. Ah!
And Juliana sits up with a start. What is it?
Time to wake up.
Yeah, Lucian shoots up with a knife in his hand and almost lunges at Durak in that moment before he realizes what's happening and catches.
There's no need to scare us like that. Jesus. How could...
Made me laugh. What are you gonna do with that butter knife, manling? Cut me beard?
It's gonna gut you like a fish, or if you don't think I could do it, consider that there's a witch. I'm sorry, not a witch, a magister among us, and you don't know what happens when you prod a magic user, dude.
I don't know. I'd put my money on the dwarf.
There's a woman with good sense.
After that scare in the morning, I don't think we need time to wake up. Might as well get fed and get on our way. She kind of gets up and pushes back her hair. Just don't one thing. Don't say that there are dogs in the forest too often if there are not.
And Durak's just gonna look at you confused. Just kind of shake his head and stand up.
Arda's just gonna start packing her things, and once she's got it all together, she's gonna walk over towards Lucian and grab his arm and lean real close and get to his ear. Don't call me a fucking witch.
Lucian nods and just goes about his business.
She's gonna let go and then go over towards Sunny. Alright, Sunny. Let's get ready.
And Durak will roll up his sleeping bag and smiling and humming lowly to himself. Very pleased with his ability to wake everyone and prepare them for the travel.
Okay, so you start making your way, you start preparing for the day. The sun has come up already. The sun comes up and you start loading your horses up, kind of packing things on to saddlebags. Go ahead and make a perception test. Everyone can if they would like. What's the normal plus 20? Okay, so everyone other than Durak is easily able to hear the clop, clop, clop of horses coming from the north. Of a horse coming from the north. You can't quite see them through the thicket yet and through the haze of the forest. You can't quite see how far around. There's a slight bend. But you definitely hear the clop of a horse.
Does anybody else hear that, or am I still kind of asleep?
No, we all hear that all right. Be prepared, Lucian says as he draws his axe and kind of takes up position on the road further.
Yes, that does not appear too hostile, just in case it is not someone we need to attack, but you know. If you want to draw your swords, I would suggest hiding them as best as you can, but let's try friendly, as you are so good at, Lucian.
I mean, I can go talk to them. People love me.
We should probably stick together.
Arda just kind of rolls her eyes.
All right.
So what is it you are all doing?
Lucian's just taking up position with his hand axe drawn, kind of sitting at his side on the road, kind of in front of.
Arda's gonna move up a little closer to the front of the group. And just kind of wait. You said we can't hear them, right? Or we can't see them, we can just hear them.
You can't see them yet, but you do hear the clopping of horse hooves coming around the corner.
Okay.
And usually I was just standing with her horse at the moment.
Okay. So you're all just standing there, which is fine. I just want to make sure that I know what you're doing. Durok's putting his things in his bags, not worried about it, and no real need to be overly worried. It is a common road. It wouldn't be uncommon or unheard of to pass by travelers on this road. And as you stand there finishing, getting your things together, gathering all of your equipment, putting the fire out, you see a man on a horse, on a large horse that actually even has barding on the side, come clopping down the side of the road. And as he comes around the corner and spots you, he stops for just a moment. And he stops as if he's taking it in, and then he slowly starts moving forward.
Hail, stranger! How's the road to the north? Lucian calls out.
You see the man with the tri-pointed hat and what looks to be an armored mask on, a heavy coat comes up around his neck and over his shoulders, armor peeking out from beneath it. And he just looks at you as you say something to him, and he looks at the dwarf, he looks at the two women. He brings his horse to a stop, and the horse stops, obviously very well trained. What was it you asked me, sir?
I asked how the roads are farther north. As you can see behind us, there's been some blockage and some trouble to the south that we've had to.
And he looks back to the tree lying across the road. Well, it doesn't look like you've cleared much of anything, now, does it?
We've cleared a path around, friend. Lucian would like to kind of like look over the guy and see if he sees any like heraldry or anything on him.
There's no heraldry on him, with the exception of what looks like to be what you would know, especially in the Empire, to be a purity seal, a wax seal on his right shoulder that's holding a scroll onto his right shoulder, likely prayers of some sort, with your knowledge of what a purity seal is.
Would I have any idea what that might mean? Like, is there like a knowledge thing I could?
Sure, you guys can all roll knowledge Empire or knowledge Reichland, whatever of those kinds of things you have.
Don't know nothing about manlings.
Okay, yeah, I do have it. I think I have the wrong sheet up.
Yeah, I don't think I have that.
Is it just normal?
It would be, yeah. So, Juliana, you look and you can get a good glimpse of the purity seal as he's kind of crossing, his arm crosses over to pat the horse to kind of calm the horse down as it snorts just a little bit. You get a good look at it, and the purity seal is a red wax stamped into the armor on his right shoulder, and underneath it is a section of parchment that likely has prayers on it, and you understand that the purity seal, that being of the twin-tailed comet, Sigmar's icon, that this is likely a witch hunter.
And she smiles to the gentleman. I guess, unfortunately, our forces are not powerful enough to move this tree, so we had to clear a space around. But I'm sure if your horse cannot jump it, you'll be able to navigate around.
And he looks at the tree and he looks at the brush. Yes, well, I'm sure my horse could jump it, but since you have carved a path already, well, that is the least resistance, now isn't it?
Indeed, we wouldn't want your horse to be injured in the jump.
And he doesn't comment at that, and he looks at the dwarf. Well met, dwarf. Where are you headed to?
Oh, I'm headed with these sorry sacks to Altdorf. Well met to you as well, manling.
Altdorf? What business is in Altdorf for a crew like you?
And mostly just looking for odd jobs here and there.
And as you say that, his horse snorts loudly. I'm sorry. You were saying?
Oh, we are looking for odd jobs here and there.
We're mercenaries.
We heard of a man riding towards Altdorf that was looking to hire some folks. Thought we'd go after and see what kind of work he had for us before we had to clear a path through here.
Yes, well, I understand. I guess work anywhere it's going to be an Altdorf now.
Yes, exactly. But we do not want to impede your travels too much. As we also have places to head, we should bid you adieu.
And he looks over at Arda, and you are going with them. You look rather young.
Pretty young, but they helped me out a great deal on the roads, and so I'm kind of stuck with them right now. Altdorf is home, so I'll at least be able to see my mom and a few others before venturing out on wherever the money takes us next.
What is your name, young one?
Arda. And yours?
Ordan. And you, dwarf, what is your name?
Durak Drikison.
And he looks over to Juliana as if she should already know what the question is.
Julian Rask. It is a pleasure to meet you.
He looks over to Lucian, eyeing him suspiciously. And you, sir, what is your name?
Lucian, may I ask what it is, what business you have to the south?
I don't think it's any of our business, Alicia.
Well, I thought perhaps he could use some aid. You know, some
Say that.
hired hands, as it were.
When you say that, he just laughs. You can hear him laugh under his mask. Some aid. Maybe. Maybe if the dwarf was on this road alone, I could use his assistance. But you look just a touch frail, sir. And you travel with women. No, I don't need your aid, thank you. I'm headed to the south, if you must know. I'm headed because I have heard there have been bandits on these roads, harrying villages between Altdorf and south to the Grey Mountains. I also heard of rumors of witches, and he slowly looks across all four of you again when he's witches running up and down these roads. Female witches.
There are no witches here, friend. We all serve Sigmar and the gods.
Speak for yourself, manling.
And he kind of laughs at that again. Yes, well, even I know better to know. The dwarf does not worship Sigmar, and that is okay. He's a dwarf. Did you not know that, sir?
I said serve, not worship. I do pay homage to Sigmar, like all good citizens of the Empire, but the dwarves serve in their own way as his steadfast allies. If my history lessons I am recalling correct.
History is a tad myth. But you there, manling. You said that you had work, perhaps, of someone of my caliber. Well, I should have you know, if I'm traveling with these sorts, you should know I wouldn't travel with swords. They're not much, well, they haven't gotten me killed yet. So if it's work you be needing, and if it's help you be needing, you can never do wrong with the word of a dwarf.
And go ahead, dwarf, and make a. There's something other than charm.
Assume alcohol?
Haggle.
No.
You can pick charm, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think as far as like one-on-one interactions. I guess charm is it, isn't it?
Yes, and I will, in a stunning move, I will burn a point of resolve to guarantee I succeed.
What?
What?
Again.
Oh my god. That is completely up to you. I am not going to tell you how to spend your points, but
I will burn my resolve.
If you want to burn resolve, that is your choice.
Yep, I will burn it, and I will get. I will say that it is a roll of 1.
So, Ordon looks at you. He looks down at you, and you can see him nod his head just a little bit. He slides down off the side of his horse, leg raised, flips over, comes down off the side of the horse, and walks up to you. dwarf. I actually have fought side by side with many a dwarf. I actually owe my life to a dwarf. It is lucky for your friends here today that they are in the presence of a dwarf, especially one who wears the red hawk, the red beard. And he looks around at everyone else. I hope they understand the position you've put yourself in, what grudges you carry, the things you feel you must do, and how determined and how that fire burns in you. And he reaches into a little bag inside of his cape, and he pulls out what looks to be a card with a wax seal on it, and he hands it to you. Durak, this is my symbol. And he looks down at the wax symbol. It's a kind of a knife crossing the twin-tailed comet, almost like the crossbones of a pirate flag, but instead it's a dagger and the twin-tailed comet, and it's stamped onto a piece of parchment, cut into a little square, and then he hands that to you. You said you're heading to Altdorf. Should you need any assistance from any of the witch hunters there, you show them this. They'll help you. He looks around at the rest of you. Good luck, dwarf. While you, I have faith in, you'll do well. Your friends here will. Good luck. He walks back to his horse and smoothly and easily puts his foot in the foothold of the horse's saddle and slings himself up. He gives it just a little bit of a kick, and he starts moving off away from you guys. And as he's moving away, making his way towards the clearing that you guys cleared, he looks back. Don't hesitate to seek out help, dwarf, if you need it. There will be people there for you if you need it. And he moves down the path and starts moving away from your group.
Arda exhales. Jesus fucking Christ. Or I guess
Who?
that
Huh?
fucking Sigmar. When he mentioned witches and being a witch hunter, I was scared to shit you would say something, Lucian.
Yeah,
You're official. Why would I say something?
I'm not official yet. That's what I've told you. I'm still an apprentice.
Yes,
Well, an official apprentice then.
Still not supposed to be using magic outside of the college.
Well, good thing I haven't seen you use any magic then, right? None of us have. Lucian says, kind of winking at her as he preps.
Yeah.
I do think that, Lucian, you do need to watch your tongue sometimes just because you like to get it waggling occasionally. And I feel like that could lead us into some pretty deep problem bugging the man about where he's going. It's not our fucking business where he's going.
Aye. Bad habits die hard.
Yeah, well, they do die quicker.
When the
Best
lot of
thing-
you are done bickering, here you can take this and give the paper to Juliana. You look like a fanciful sort. You could try and make heads or tails of that.
Well, I did recognize the symbol, so if you do not need it there, Doc, then I will make sure to put this to good use if need be.
And he goes over and gets back on the pony. Well, now that bit of unpleasantness is done for everyone, we're gonna get moving. Of course, you can pick on the manlings some more if you want. Bringing a smile to my face, it is.
And I am glad I can make you happy for once. And she kind of gets on her horse as well, looking over at Lucian and narrowing her eye. Seriously, did you really think that's a good idea?
Lucian shrugs and says, if a man like that is heading south, I want to make sure to know what kind of trouble he's going into before it bites us in the ass.
Well, I do hope he can handle it because personally, I do not want to deal with the problems he is probably going to deal.
Well, best way to make sure it doesn't involve us is to head in the exact opposite direction.
Exactly. Now get on your horse.
Lucian climbs onto his horse.
Arda gets on Sunny.
So you all climb onto your horses. Everything's stowed away after having a close call with a witch hunter of Altdorf, especially Arda having to tense up there just a moment, knowing that he was looking for witch. You start making your way north again. As you're making your way north, the day drags on. You stop briefly for meals here and there to eat, feed the horses, water them, make sure that they are okay. As you continue down the road, you pass several other travelers, people just going in different directions, people carrying wares, people carrying even some of the preserved fish from the town you just left, Riverside, comes by you at some point, and you're kind of tickled and pleased to see that, knowing that you helped open those roadways back up for them. And you're coming down, and it's going to be another day before you can get to Altdorf. And as it starts turning into night, again, you make camp. And you set up your watches and you go through your routines. As you're going through your routines, I'm assuming it's similar to what you did the previous night. So as you go through the previous night, Arda, if you would like to make an intelligence test again, you can do that as you study your grimoire. And again, as you sit there at night, surrounded by the darkness with only the orange glow of the embers breaking up the sky like little fireflies, everything that you're doing, everything that you're reading is ticking. It's making sense. It's starting to have meaning for you. And you're one step closer to having. What I want you to do now is to choose which one of these that you have memorized that you no longer need the grimoire for. I believe you have 4 in there.
Yeah, I've got
Or
4.
I want you to choose one that you have memorized.
She's gonna choose Marsh Lights.
Okay. So as you're sitting there, and it's the glowing embers lighting up the sky like little fireflies. It's the connection that you make with the light. It's the way the magic comes off, and you envision the lights coming up and glowing around you. And as you're doing that, you actually see your your simple spell, the marsh lights kind of light up around you. And you know that you've studied it completely and thoroughly, and that you no longer need the grimoire to use marsh lights.
She smiles to herself with some satisfaction, and thinks, "Suck it, Maester Elwick."
And then the night continues, just as the previous night. Snoring from the dwarf, rustling of horses, scuffing of hooves on the ground. And then you all wake up rested the next day. Unfortunately, it's on the ground at the roadside in a dark forest, so there are no healing benefits to this. You're on the road, so whatever wounds you have still have not improved. And because of this, I would like Durak to go ahead and make another. What was it? Endurance test that we decided.
Mm-hmm.
Another endurance.
Sure.
So you look down at the wounds, and whether it's the ale, it's just your constitution as a dwarf, but you look down and you see the redness and the puffiness starting to resolve. It doesn't look quite as bad as it did the day before. So it's morning and you're all awake now, sitting around your campfire, getting ready to start the next day.
So what if we cannot find this individual? I guess we can try and pick up some work in Altdorf then.
It's a big city. Someone somewhere must need something done.
Hopefully something we can do. Maybe not crawling around crypts and caverns.
I'm sure Arda could put in a good word for us with her master if it comes down.
Yes, because I would love to work at a mage tower. So fun.
I don't think you'd be allowed to work there, but who knows, they might need something done.
But we will see when we get there. She kind of packs up all her stuff and puts on her horse. Is everyone ready to go?
Yeah, Lucian packs up his things too, and climbs onto his horse, getting ready to.
So you all gather your belongings again, put the fire out, and start on your way. You go down the road. As you head down the road, heading north towards Altdorf, the sun grows higher, and I want you all to make a perception test. So, all of the others, as you're clumping along down the road, kind of a quiet stretch, and off in the shrubs, you hear yelling. Ah! Ah!
Oh shit.
What was that?
It sounds like someone in trouble. Maybe we can get some coin off them once we rescue them. And with that, Juliana kind of takes out her sword as she's riding.
I was just thinking the same thing, my dear. Lucian says, drawing his hand axe and starting to make his way towards wherever the shout's coming from.
Go wait till the screaming stops and get even more coin.
Yes, but you can make connections depending on who they are, especially if they're someone of noble. That way, if they're from Altdorf, we can get more jobs from there, put in a good word.
Pah, man
And a
with
wealthy
politics.
merchant carries more coin in a bank than he does on his person. Someone like that is worth more to us alive than.
Exactly.
Man like politics. Pulls out his axe. Fine.
As you're all talking and kind of discussing how you want or don't want to do anything about this yelling, um, all of a sudden, from the brush, someone comes crashing through it, and this man comes crashing through, and he stumbles and falls. And as you look, you see that his hands are tied in front of him, and he has a gag halfway hanging off of his mouth. And he falls and he hits the ground. Oh!
Does it sound like the man who was yelling before?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like yelling. I mean, yeah, you can. It sounds like the same yelling.
Okay. Yeah,
Arda's
Juliana
gonna
will. Go ahead.
Arda's gonna walk up and just take off his gag. What's going on?
Help! They're behind me. Help me! Yeah, help me! And he's looking frantically over his shoulder and trying to get up after falling on the ground with his hands tied in front of him. Kind of difficult to push himself up, just using his legs. Help me! I got away! I got away! And he's breathing heavily as he's kind of scraped up and kneeling down to try and push himself up onto his feet.
Alright, just stay there, we gotcha.
Yes, but got away from who exactly? Juliana
apparently
will get
they're-
off her horse.
Right back there. Probably on the way.
Well, I mean, if you do not tell us exactly why you're out here in, I'm guessing, a few seconds, and they're probably going to catch up. So, who are you and why are we chasing you?
I was headed to Altdorf. No, my master was sending me, and then bandits, highwaymen, and he's obviously just panicked and looking behind him. And say, untie me. You can't let them take me again.
How much is your life worth to your master?
Well, is he being real right now? He would just let a man die on the road for coin?
Yep.
No. Just
Um,
let's deal with these bandits or whatever.
Yeah, and Juliana, if you would like to, yes, you can roll intuition.
with a 20?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not fighting a lick if I'm not getting paid either from their corpses or by this man's employer.
So
You hear that? If you want the dwarf to help, we need to be promised coin.
And Juliana, you're looking at him, and he is obviously very panicked and sounds extremely sincere about what he's saying. He's afraid and wants to preserve his life. He's been tied up and gagged, and you believe that he just did escape from bandits or highwaymen or whoever that he said was holding him.
well, I feel like if we do not get this man on one of the back of our horses, even if we give him up to the highwaymen, I feel like they will still attempt to fight us and take us as well. So I feel like it is in our best interest to help this get it back to his master. And from there we can further discuss. Acceptable?
Isn't the guy that we're looking for the servant of a rich master?
Arda, let's get him onto your horse and we can continue discussing this later.
Alright.
Right before these bandits are up.
Yeah. I mean, I can't lift him, so help me
And
out.
as you're talking, you see two men crash through the thicket. And they come stumbling out, swords in hand. And as they come stumbling out, swords in hand, like, there he is. And pointing at him with the sword. And they look at the four of you and just smile. Oh, hello there. Yeah, it's just, we lost our friend here. If you wouldn't mind kind of pushing him back in our direction, no, that'd be much appreciated. And then the other one looks to the one that was talking. Yeah, that would definitely be appreciated.
Go back in the woods. I'm gonna collect your Wazzik heads and keep them from my belt.
Did he just say he was going to collect our heads? And then the other one looks at him. He just said he was going to collect our heads.
I do not think that you want to test the dwarf, because I have seen him collect a few heads.
Like this one here that's decaying, and I'll take the one that's I've had on my belt for the last several days and throw it towards them.
You throw the head towards them, and as it rolls towards their feet, they look down. And they look down, then they look at each other, and look back down at the head, and then they look up at you guys, and both of them just start laughing. You've got a head, yeah, well. And he reaches into his cloak there, and he pulls out a hand. Look, I've got this hand, and there's a ring on the hand, and he uses it to wave at you with the hand, and he just drops it next to the head. The other guy's standing there. Yeah, well, I think I've got an ear in here too. And they start looking through their bags, looking for body parts to throw down next to the head.
Seeing that
Obviously,
Lucian... Sorry, apologies. Seeing that Lucian looks over towards Duroc and says, "That ring looked valuable?"
Oh, I imagine it does. I'm sure there's plenty more of value on their pretty little corpses when we're done. And then he just kind of hops down off his pony. To work, then.
Yeah, Lucian doesn't bother hopping down. He kicks the sides of his horse's saddle to charge.
Yulia is getting off her horse and drawing her blood. And I mean, it is 4 against 1, and usually I am not one to stack the odds against someone, but you all seem like little shits, so I do not mind.
And this one over here, he looks at you guys getting off your horses, pulling your swords. Listen, we just want our friend back, that's all. Just go ahead and send him our direction, and we'll be off. There's no need for anyone to stab anyone else. We won't stab you. You don't have to stab us. Everyone goes their own ways, and we'll be happy.
And he seems to want to be our friends now, so I think you should accept this breakup of sorts of friendship and be on your way before we gut you.
Nay, they're gone now. They insulted a dwarf. Can't stand by that. That's a grudge.
Well, take out your grudge. I will be right behind you, dwarf.
And this one here looks at the other one, and this one looks at him. They both kind of just laugh and smile a little bit. and they start taking off running back into the brush.
I believe I said Lucian was running them down on horseback.
Oh, did you? I did not.
Yeah,
catch
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry if my mic wasn't working or what, but I was saying that Lucian, after Duroc got down from his horse, rode forward to charge at them on horse.
Okay, let me look at something here real quick, since you are doing that. Okay, I want you to make a ride test as you kick your heels into the side of your horse and start moving towards them. Oof.
Holy shit.
So, as you kick your heels into the side of the horse to get it to run at them, not being a war horse, not being a trained combat horse, it rears up and you fall off the back of it.
Of course he does.
Yep, you fall off the back of it, and go ahead and roll d4 for damage. Just 1d4. So you take 3 damage from the fall. As you fall and you land on your back, you hit your head, your shoulder blade, and as you fall off the horse, the other two look at each other, laugh, and run off into the brush.
Does my toughness is the damage modified by my toughness value?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So unless anyone's going to do anything, these two run off into the brush, and you're left alone.
Yulian's gonna go back to Lucian, kind of kneel down. What was that?
Intimidating, I hope? Oh, my head.
The ground. Arta, do you mind untying this man? She kind of gestures to the other one while she kind of looks down at Lucian, just shaking her head. Do you need help up too?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine, Lucian says, rising to his feet and shaking his head a little.
He has the biggest bruises on his ego. Oh, manling, I haven't laughed with such mirth in quite some time.
Not since the crypt, apparently.
Arda walks over to the servant and kind of kneels down next to him, pulling out her dagger to cut out the rope binding his hands. So, what's your name?
They gone. My name's Lewis. Lewis Granddaughter. Are they gone?
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, thank goodness they've kept me for the last. Oh, it's been a day or two at least. I didn't think I was ever going to get away from.
Well, glad we came along, I guess. Why'd they take you?
Yes, I'm very glad you came along. I didn't think I was going to get away. They chased me. They've been chasing me for about an hour now through the thick.
Why'd they take you, though?
I have no idea. Seems to be something that they've done. They had a couple of people they had tied up. I didn't know if I was just gonna be taken and sold off somewhere else, or sacrificed, or I didn't know what they were going to do. And he starts getting upset as you're talking to him.
Shit. They had other people there?
There was one of the fish with me. It seemed like he had been there just a little longer than I. His facial hair had grown in quite a bit. Doesn't look like he's had a good shave in a while, but said he was some kind of priest, I think. They didn't let us talk to each other very much, but then they weren't looking, and I was able to get away. I just feel so bad for that other man.
How many of them were there?
I don't rightly know. There was at least, I don't know, maybe half a dozen, maybe more. It was just those two that chased me, though. I think the others stayed back to watch the camp, watch their other prisoner. I got lucky, and then I ran into you folk.
Well, we are happy that we could help, but these other people, you said there was one other?
Just one of that I knew of. I mean, no, I don't know quite how many they might have had, but there was just one that I saw. They had us all blindfolded and gagged, hands tied. I I was able to get my gag free and my blindfold off just a little bit, just enough to see what direction to run in when they wasn't looking.
And Jana looks to the rest. Do you think we should try and help these other people? I mean, there might be some good coin to take.
I would say, let's get this man back to where he needs to go. That should be payment enough. Besides, it's going to be an hour in that direction back to the brush. It's not likely he kept track of where he was running to.
I just ran. I have no idea where I was. I just ran.
I don't know. That creates a good track that we could follow back if we really wanted. Just saying.
Lucian walks over to where they dropped the hand. Did they ever pick that?
No, they did not.
He's gonna take the ring off of the hand and examine it.
You examine the ring, and it's a simple silver ring, probably worth a silver piece.
Strange of them to be chopping up bodies this way. You said there was a priest there? He says, turning toward...
Oh, I think that's what he said he was, a priest. Or did he say? I don't know. I only spoke to the man briefly one time. Like I said, they kept us separated, wouldn't let us see or talk to each other.
Could be a mage playing with foul magics. Best not to get involved as it relates to them.
Could also be a wealthy priest, a man who could command much coin and would pay to be sick.
It could be.
Just to clarify, the priest was the one who was doing the crazy shit, wasn't he? According to
No,
what's happening.
he was the one who was captured.
He thinks that the other prisoner, his co-prisoner, was a priest. He thinks.
Okay.
He is not positive.
I can see already, manling, that you want to go do this. The glint in your eye from the silver ring. So, he looks back down at the guy who was just saved. Whom do you serve and where might we find you if you live in Altdorf?
Well, I live further south. I was headed to Altdorf. My master was sending me there to look for someone who might help him. But I got waylaid on this road by those men. I need to continue to Altdorf. Don't go off that direction, please. I don't know that I want to travel this road alone anymore.
Is your master's
Do you know
name
your way
Gundalf?
around a weapon?
Well, I've got a dagger I can use.
Then you could come with us and be helpful.
Nay, wait a minute.
I'm not going back in that thicket. I told you already, there were at least half a dozen men. That's 2 more than you've got here right now. Probably more from the sounds of it. I'm not going back there. I just got out of there.
What were you saying, Arta?
What's your master's name?
My master's name? Well, I don't understand. Sigmar. Sigmar Bentlin. Why is that of any interest to you?
Is that the name that we were given before by the bartender?
Gundalf, wasn't it?
Anhalt was the elder of the village that gave you the original job.
And then he gave us another name of a person who was traveling north. Oh, that was the bartender gave us a name of someone who was traveling north that was looking for people.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. I'm looking here, and I did not. I did not put that name down. Did I actually say a name?
I have it written as Gundalf Shaw.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Okay. Yeah. So when you ask his master's name, he tells you his master's name is Sigmar Wendland. I don't know. I don't know what use that is to you, though.
What kind of help was he looking for? We tend to be helpful to others for the right amount of.
You know, those men, they're going to be back with reinforcements. We must be gone.
And you could tell us on the way then.
Let's start heading north. We could alert the local authorities to the bandit.
Yes. Of course. Is there a horse I should ride with, or any one of you?
You could ride with me. That is fine.
Yes. Thank you. And he's relieved to get on the horse and start moving. And as you guys travel north and head towards Altdorf, he tells you that he was sent north towards Altdorf to look for to look for some people who could help his master, saying that it's Altdorf that is the most likely place for him to find people with the skills, the abilities to take on a job like this, um, and also at the same time, hopefully track down the query of this job. He informs you that his master is looking for his son, and his son has gone missing. Um, After arriving in Altdorf several weeks back, letter was sent saying that he would be returning soon, and a week has passed with no word and no sign of his son, and that he is, in fact, off to Altdorf to look for him or to try and hire someone who can find him. So the master's son, he went to Altdorf, got this fancy idea in his head that he was going to find some book in the libraries there, something he started obsessing over, and left. He left the master's home and went to Altdorf. But now he's gone. He's missing. We have not heard of him or from him in some time, which is not like him. He should have been back by now. And so I've been sent to either find him or find someone who can find him.
But I think that we would be able to maybe assist with this.
Do you think so? I mean, I don't doubt you. I do owe you for saving my life. And he suspiciously looks around, and you can tell he's unsure of the fact that there are two women in this group. I just I don't know if it's something right for you folks.
Friend, have you ever gone looking for a missing noble's son in a city?
Well, of course not. I've never
Well,
been in
well,
the
trust me.
position.
Trust me, I have. I've been there. There are places that folk like us can go that you can't. Places where a strong dwarf or a beautiful woman can open doors and open mouths and get us where we need to go. And just believe me, we'll find your man for you for, a small, respectable fee.
Well, a small, respectable fee. Why, my master, he's offering a small fortune for anyone who can find his son. He loves him, and he misses him dearly.
Well, I would be
Of
happy to
Define
course, of
fortune,
course.
lad.
Well, I mean, he's offering 50 gold crowns up front and another 100 on the return of his son.
I'm sorry, do you have these crowns on your person right now?
No, no, of course not. Those bandits would have taken it all, and that's quite a bit of weight. No, my master, he's a bit of a noble in the south. He has resources in Altdorf. I'm able to pull it from there. That's why I was headed to Altdorf, not only to look for the son, but pull the necessary resources to hire someone to find his son. He said, pay anything. And he said, just bring his son back. Bring the young lad back. That's all I'm supposed to do. Or find someone who can do it.
Right, well, we can take care of this for you. You've been through so much recently. We'll just, you make that down payment to us, and we'll find your master's son, and he'll be back good as new before you.
Yes, well, we must arrive safely in Altdorf, and we can get this all settled. I don't doubt that you're capable. I guess I just don't have much of a choice right now. Um, that's why I was headed to Altdorf. All the capable men of action, soldiers, mercenaries, bounty hunters, they are all off doing other things right now, it seems.
I'll have you know we're more than capable. The four of us, we just dispatched another band of bandits a few days.
Dispatched a band of bandits. Where was this?
In a crypt from which they were harassing village traders. We cut them down like a sickle cuts through.
Well, that sounds exactly like what I need, especially today. Yeah, yes, you know what? Yes, thank you for saving my life. I don't mean to question you. I don't mean to doubt you folks. I just need to make sure the master gets his son back.
And we would be happy to help you.
He's very worried about him. You understand?
Tell us more about your master's son. You said he was going to the city to find a book.
Yes, he was going to the city to find a book. He thought it might be at one of the great libraries. He seems to believe that there was a book written by who I don't know, a madman, I think, must be. But according to him, what he told us is that this book is able to predict when Morslide would appear. And you all know that Morslide is the dark moon, the green moon, the bad moon. Um, it's a time that preceded the destruction of Mordheim. It kind of comes and goes, but it's not an annual event. There's no set date or time for Morslide to appear in the sky. Um, when it does appear, it's when chaos energies are strong and closest to the planet, and the winds of chaos blow strongly through the lands, and it's generally a time where everyone um, stays indoors and doesn't go out at night. Kind of, it's a very powerful moon that appears that has a lot of superstition and speculation and tradition around it. But he seems to think this book somehow the author was able to predict when Morslag would appear. I don't know how, but he's just consumed with it. He won't stop looking for it, and he said he had to go to Altdorf to the libraries to look for this book.
Is he some kind of scholar or a wizard or?
Well, he's a young noble, of course. He's educated. A scholar or a wizard, no, not. But it's still something that he just grasped onto and couldn't let go of. He studied it and learned about it, and I don't know where he heard of it in the first place. Even it's just something he just wouldn't drop. His father tried to get him to drop it. I even tried once or twice to tell him he was going down the wrong path, but he wouldn't listen to any of us. He insisted that this book is out there and it exists, and if he could find it, he would be famous.
Well, maybe, if possible, once we find the boy, he will also have this book. Hopefully, you will not be attempting to search for things after this long of an absence from his family.
Well, I hope he doesn't go off any further searching for anything. I hope he's just got his nose buried in a book in the great library of Altdorf. I hope it's as simple as that. It would be easy money for you folk. I just, I just hope he gets back to his father soon.
Well, as do we at this point. But first, we must focus on getting to Altdorf. Then we can continue these discussions. You seem fairly upset. I understand after going through such traumas as you might be good to just take a few breaths. You are a more free man now. You do not have to worry.
Yes, well, yes, to Altdorf then. Praise Sigma.
Hey, Sigmar.
And the horses continue on their way through the woods down this road. Again, passing people by. There's no sign of the bandits or highwaymen. You continue on your journey, and as you continue on your journey, you come out of the woods and down a slight slope of the road, and off in the distance, as the traffic picks up and there's more and more carts, wagons, people walking by. You're passing smaller villages here and there. Um, the population becomes a little more dense as the villages get closer and closer together, and you come across a small hill, and off in the distance you see the great city of Mordheim. Sorry, great city of Altdorf, uh, up to the north.
Was about to say, I was like, wait, we've traveled really, really far in like 2 days.
And the city is massive and huge. There are people everywhere in speaking different languages, different there's different accents. You see dwarves walking about. At one point, you see what looks to be a retinue of high elves walking by with fine silks and jewels on their clothing as they walk by and continue moving on to a distant temple. Um, there's every manner of just man and dwarf and even occasionally elf that you see wandering through the city as you make your way in.
Juliana just kind of takes everything in, wide-eyed, really enjoying kind of seeing all these people and seeing such a bustling town, being out of those other small towns that smelled awful, going into probably a big town that also smells awful, but at least it has more people.
Finally, it's good to be home.
Lucian also kind of relaxes a little bit, having come back into a large city, though not necessarily being super familiar with it.
So you guys enter the front gates. You're kind of just basically waved through, along with a half a dozen other carts, all carrying different things. And as you're waved through, you see some what look like soldiers walking by in formation. You see different merchants making their way through until you're finally kind of coming down smaller streets and alleyways as you get past the hustle and bustle of the main gates. And
at one of the guard posts, Lucian is gonna stop for a moment and tell them, that there's a bandit camp a few hours to the south where they're holding a priest of some sort, supposedly. Just like letting them know.
And you tell him that, and as you tell him that, the one of the soldiers looks at the other one. You hear this one? He says there's a bandit camp out there. Yeah. How many bandit camps? I'm sure there's plenty of bandit camps. And the other one just kind of laughs. There's lots of bandit camps there. I guess we'll have one more. Thanks to this guy. Yeah, this guy. He's letting us know that there's another bandit camp out there. And they just laugh, not really caring at all what you said about a bandit camp.
Lucian shrugs, having done what he could.
So you're walking through, and as you're walking through the God damn it, what did I name this guy?
Lewis?
Lewis or Simon, right?
His name was Lewis.
Oh.
Okay. As you're walking in, he takes you down the streets and down the alleyways. Having been here, obviously, before, he's familiar with where he's going. And he takes you to a tavern. He takes you to a tavern called the Gilded Ox. And he takes you to a tavern called the Gilded Ox off the streets and pulls you in there. My master's he's got a secured box here, and anytime I'm in town, he's in town, or his son's in town, we're able to pull from it for whatever our needs are. This place is safe, secure, and we can count on discretion here. Are you sure that this is the job for you?
Of course, we can handle it. So the 50 gold deposit, and then another 50 gold for saving you, and then we'll be right.
Well, I don't know if you quite heard me correctly back there.
Oh, I heard you, but I just assumed that your master, being a wise and kind and gracious man, would appreciate us saving you and recognize that we put our own lives at risk and made enemies of those bandits, and so we need compensation for that as well. And had we not, he'd have no chance of saving his. Can I roll a haggle check on that?
Sure, you can roll a haggle check on that, but it's very difficult. So that's going to be at a negative.
A negative what?
20.
Well, I tried.
Yeah, he looks at you and he's just confused. He's like, well, thank you for saving me, but I'm offering you a job because you saved me. A very well-paying job because you saved me. Otherwise, I'm sure I could find someone here that could do the job. Just
you trust us. We can do the job. I misunderstood. Apologies.
Never mind the manling. He has the gold lust as it is.
Are you sure you're up for this job? I mean, despite having 2 women, I'm still offering you the job for saving me.
If you don't trust the manling or the women, I'm worth every gold coin that you have.
And his eyes raise just a little bit, and that's like the one saving grace that you have a dwarf slayer in your group. Yes, dwarf. Yes, okay. Well, let me go get what you need, and I'll be back. And he runs off into a upstairs area, to an office back there. He nods at the barkeep. The barkeep nods at him. They know each other, and he runs up there, grabs some things, and you can see him coming back down somewhat eagerly with a couple of things tucked under his arm. And he comes down with this stuff, sits down at the table with you, and as he sits down at the table, he just looks across the table, looks at all of you. Okay, well, I've got some very important things here. Some things to help you, as much as I can help you anyways. Now, the master's son. Yeah, he's a little bit stubborn, so you might need to convince him that you're not brigands trying to kidnap him, that you are sent by his father. So, here, you're going to take this. And he hands you his father's, or he hands you the signet ring, the noble ring. This belongs to his father, and he knows that his father wouldn't let go of it unless he was trying to send him a specific message. Just so that he knows you were sent by his father. Show him this if there's any doubt. He'll know you were. And then this here. This is the most recent painting of him, and he pulls a tube out, like a cardboard tube, and unravels like this velour painting. And some of the paint is still somewhat damp. And he unrolls it up in front of all of you. This is the most recent painting of Friedrich. He looks like this. It was painted not even 6 months ago. So this is what he looks like. If you could find him and bring him back. This is just what needs to happen. You need to find him, please, and bring him back. And he rolls up the painting and puts it back in the tube, like a map tube. Caps it up and gives it to you guys. And
Well, we will make sure to find Frederick.
yes, please do. And then he reaches down into his coat and pulls one last thing out. And he gently and reverently pulls out a dagger and sets it on the table. And he slides it across slowly. And this is the master's dagger, given to him by an elf. The blade of a friend who owed him a favor. The blade of a friend who would not still be on this earth if it wasn't for the master. Getting his son back is so important that he is willing to lend this to any man who attempts to find his son. This is no ordinary blade. It's so well balanced. And in the right hands, in the right hands, it will aid any man trying to find Friedrich. Please help us find Friedrich. And he slowly pushes the blade across to the center of the table and leaves it sitting there.
Ileana looks over at Lucian, and she actually kind of looks down. She takes a signet ring to her hands, places it on her palm, looks at it. Do not worry. We'll make sure to find Frederick. Make sure to get him back to your master. And we will do this post-haste. I think that seems dire.
Lucian picks up the blade in both hands and kind of weighs it and looks at it, and then makes eye contact with the servant and says, "I know this is a fine blade. It speaks volumes of the love your master has for his son, and I know something of the love of a father for his child and doing things for their benefit and making sure that they are safe. And trust me, we will find your son. We will find your master's son, and we will make sure he returns home safely. On my word."
Then I guess there's only one thing left to do. And he reaches down, he looks around suspiciously, looks around the crowd, looks you all in the eye, and then he reaches down under his coat and he pulls out 2 leather coin purses that are heavy, and they give a clunk on the table, and he pushes those to the middle of the table. 50 gold coins. Just for taking the job. That's what this means to the master. 50 gold coins could do a lot for a lot of people. And if you took this and ran, you took this and took the ring, the dagger, well, I guess there's not much I could do. So I figured if you saved my life, you have to be somewhat conscionable, aren't you? Please find the master's son, and just as I kept my word here, you are guaranteed I will keep my word again. 100 gold crowns on his return. And he just looks desperately at all of you sitting around the table.
"We'll return with your master's son, but tell us, does he have any friends in the city? Anybody he would know that he might turn?"
I don't know. No friends currently in the city. I know he used to come down here with some friends back at his estate. But he came alone this time. He came alone saying he was coming to do research. That he was going to the library. I assumed it's the great library here. It might be from one of the mage's towers. I don't know. But whatever it was, he said he was after that book. And that he was going to be researching it in the library at Altdorf. And that's the last we ever heard of him.
Do you know where he normally stayed when he came to the city?
No.
Did you have a small apartment? Did your family have any estates, or did he have an inn he liked?
Well, if he was going to be staying at an inn, it would be this one right here, where we keep our resources. Barkeep is a good fellow, good dwarf, keeps an eye out on us when we're here. There is a small apartment in one of the areas, the neighborhoods, but we've already sent word there, had them look, no sign.
Again, do not worry. We will make sure to get him back.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I don't know what would happen to the master if he lost his son. He's already lost his wife. The son might be too much for him. I hate to think of what might happen. I just want to do what's right by him. And I'm glad I found you four. I'm glad I found... Well, I'm glad you four found me. My life has been saved now. I think this was all meant to be, the way it worked out. I think this was all meant to be. And he starts getting this kind of encouraging smile on his face.
And Juliana reaches across the table and takes the man's hand, kind of pats it gently. We will make sure to get him back. You can count on us.
Yes, well, thank you, ma'am. Oh, I just can't wait to see the boy's smiling face again. I can't wait to see him again. And unless anyone else is going to have any other conversations, that's where it ends in Altdorf tonight.
All right.